there are 4 principles we need to maintain. First, read the Word of God. Second, consume the Word of God until it consumes you. Third, believe the Word of God. Fourth, act on the Word. The Word of God is a lamp by night, a light by day, and a delight at all times. If we want to know the glory of God, if we want to experience the beauty of God, and if we want to be used by the hand of God, then we must live in the Word of God. The Word of God is like a lion. You don't have to defend a lion. All you have to do is let the lion loose and the lion will defend itself. I prayed for faith and thought that someday faith would come down and strike me like lightning. But faith did not seem to come. One day I read in the 10th chapter of Romans, "Now faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the Word of God." I had closed my Bible and prayed for faith. I now opened my Bible and began to study, and faith has been growing ever since. Next to the Word of God, the noble art of music is the greatest treasure in the world. If your mind is filled with the Word of God, then it can't be filled with impure thoughts. Faith, prayer, and the Word of God are the weapons God provides you with to fight spiritual battles. The more reverence we have for the Word of God, the more joy we shall find in it. Christ is the Word of God. It is not in certain texts written in the New Testament, valuable as they are. It is not in certain words which Jesus spoke, vast as is their preciousness. It is in the Word which Jesus is that the great manifestation of God is made. If you want to be led by the Spirit of God, then devote yourself to the Word of God. As you read the Word of God today, read it with expectancy and anticipation for the changes it will make in you. The Word of God is always most precious to the man who most lives upon it. Do not have your concert first, and then tune your instrument afterwards. Begin the day with the Word of God and prayer, and get first of all into harmony with Him. Look at Jesus Christ. Every time He was in trouble, He used the Word of God. When He was tempted, He used the Word. When He was suffering on the cross, He used the Word. Now what is food for the inner man? Not prayer, but the Word of God. And here again, not the simple reading of the Word of God, so that it only passes through our minds, just as water passes through a pipe, but considering what we read, pondering it over and applying it to our hearts. The Word of God, well understood and religiously obeyed, is the shortest route to spiritual perfection. And we must not select a few favorite passages to the exclusion of others. Nothing less than a whole Bible can make a whole Christian. My conscience is captive to the Word of God. If we want revivals, we must revive our reverence for the Word of God. One word of God can do more than 10,000 words of men to relieve a distressed soul. The great sin of the average Christian is ignorance of the Word of God. Feelings come and feelings go, and feelings are deceiving. My warrant is the Word of God. Naught else is worth believing. Though all my heart should feel condemned for want of some sweet token, there is one greater than my heart whose word cannot be broken. I'll trust in God's unchanging word till soul and body sever. For though all things shall pass away, His word shall stand forever. I am much afraid that the schools will prove the very gates of hell, unless they diligently labor in explaining the Holy Scriptures and engraving them in the hearts of youth. I advise no one to place his child where the Scriptures do not reign paramount. Every institution in which means are not unceasingly occupied with the Word of God must be corrupt. Christ is the Word of God in person. The Bible is the Word of God in writing. Both are the Word of God in the words of men. Both have a human nature and a divine nature.